you take is the longest ride. If today was your last day, tomorrow was too late, could you say goodbye yesterday? Would you live each moment like your last? Leave old pictures in the past. Donate every dime you have. If today was your last day, against the grain should be a way of life. What's worth the prize is always worth the fight. Every second counts, 'cause there's no second try. So live like you've never lived twice. Don't take for free, right? Your life. If today was your last day, tomorrow was too late, could you say goodbye yesterday? Would you live each moment like your last? Leave old pictures in the past. Donate every dime you have. And what you call those friends you never see, reminisce on memories. Would you forgive your enemies? Would you find that one degree that us where up and down you gotta love? That's you finally fall in love. If today was your last day, if today was your last day, would you make your mind? Mending a broken heart. You know it's never too late to shoot for the stars, regardless of who you are. So do whatever it takes, 'cause you can't rewind a moment in this life. Let nothing stand in your way, 'cause there hands of time are never on your side. If today was
Yes, please. And silence descends. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, everyone.
So lovely to see you all here within the church. As you're aware, today we're just trying something slightly different. You know, it's become very evident in our society now about divisionalism and about separatism. We've all come through an age and a time that we never thought that we would ever face. And we're now re-emerging and starting to come back out. And one of the threads that has been running through this time where we've been shut away, where we've missed it, is that sense of family, that sense of community, that sense of belonging and being with people. And it's on that energy that today's service has been created, to bring in that energy again, to remind people that you are part of a community, you are part of your own families biologically, you're part of the church family, we're part of the extended family with all the wonderful people that join us online. And that is something to be revered and celebrated. So today's service is dedicated to that energy and to bring in that presence and work with spirit. Some people have said without the demonstration of evidential mediumship, surely you can't have a service. I say that the power of spirit is not confined to one act. To me, my description is a little bit like, sorry Sue, I think there's somebody at the door, please. It's a bit like having a greengrocer and only selling carrots. You know, it's not a one-act pony. Spiritualism and the power of spirit and that linking in and acknowledgement to the divinity and the God within is so awesome. so wonderful. And we all do it on each and every our own levels, and that's fine. Absolutely fine. Nobody can tell you what God is, what God looks like. God is God to you. So whatever your God is of your own understanding, that's a time to celebrate. Thank you. So today is Family Day. Today is going to be different. Today's service is made up through all your energies. This is not going to be a passive type service where you just sit and listen. This is an active service, an interactive service. Your energy is here today, and you wonderful people at home too. You are bringing in that presence. You are bringing in that purpose of the day to celebrate that we are together, we are all one, we are part. And yeah, like all families, we may disagree with each other at times. Hiya, you all right, boys? Do you know what? Going back to evidential mediumship, yeah, it's wonderful having that confirmation, but there is everyday mediumship, and these are the subtler forms of mediumship that we need to acknowledge. So today on Family Day, we've got generations from, hiya, what's your names? Oh, wonderful. Raphael and Armanian. Hello, welcome boys. Right through to the lovely Ted over here. This is it, you know, spiritualism teaches us about life. Spiritualism teaches us that, you know, this thread of life is never unbroken. So we're here for this time. So enjoy it. Don't make it a trial or a tribulation. Just enjoy it. So I hope that you all take part in the service. I hope that you get every enjoyment you need and take with it from it what you want. Would the boys like some colouring books or anything?
Would you like to do some colouring? Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
In the front room, Sue, in one of the cupboards. Thank you. So,
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Me too.
all right, everybody wants colouring books. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So, without further ado, I will ask the lovely Sue Townsend to deliver the opening blessing and get this service underway. So please relax, enjoy, and just celebrate being part of a family, of friends. Enjoy it. It's a wonderful day. Thank you, darling. Thank you for your comment. See?
Thank you, Lawrence.
I'll nip out and just find the colouring books.
Absolutely. Okay.
You're on your own.
Thank you. Oh, jolly good. Yay. Okay. Well, while those of you at home are collecting your crayons and pencils and colouring books, I'll just, I want to just say a quick word to Charlotte, if you're watching now or online a little bit later, and wishing you a speedy recovery, because Charlotte is going to sing for us one Sunday and hasn't been able to do that today. So get well, Charlotte, and we'll see you here soon, and looking forward to hear you sing. And now, while Lawrence is out there trying to find the crayons and things, if you'd all like to join me in an opening prayer. Great Spirit, Mother, Father, God, we thank you for bringing us all here today in our family service, which also coincides with remembering D-Day. We thank you for all your blessings. We thank you for our fortune to be able to be here today. And we ask that healing may be sent out across the world to all those who are in pain or suffering or grieving the loss of their loved ones. We ask for healing to be sent out for all the children across the earth as well, because they are our future, they are our hope for the future. And we ask that they be kept safe, that they have food and shelter, and that they are nurtured and cared for and allowed to grow with their own true self-expression, and to be able to grow into the world with love and compassion. We ask that all the animal kingdom may be healed as well, and also treated with respect as sentient beings. And maybe also send out a thought for our plant and mineral kingdoms, because being the earth and part of the earth, we are all a part of the earth, and she nurtures and sustains all of us and all life. So may we all have those thoughts of gratitude too for everything we have in our life, everything we have in our world, because that is the abundance, that is the gift that is so freely given. And sometimes we forget to be appreciative of all that. And it is time to pay more attention to our blessings and be thankful for that as well. I'd like to ask that we all be held in safekeeping here in the church today, and also for those out there online, whether they're watching now or on catch-up later. And it's also to remind us that we are families within families within families, because we grow together as a family unit of some sort or another, however that is, whether it's bloodlines or through guardianship, whatever it is. And then we grow into a wider family in the neighbourhood and the community and our country, and this family expression extends out across the world. It extends here within the church, but across the world we're really truly a global family. So we ask that love and blessings go out to our global family too. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sue. Lovely.
Yes, and now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to welcome Ted. A lovely gentleman that's a regular to our church. Ted is 91 years young, so we've got a widespread generation to hear, and this is what it's all about. It's also remembering that everybody has something to contribute and a great deal of wisdom. So Ted was alive at the time. Don't you like the chicken now? Ted has got a great deal of wisdom, and I know because I've listened to him. So yes, he was alive around in the D-Day period of time too.
Yes.
So I leave you to talk now, Ted. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. They asked me to say a few words, so I'll say a few words.
And thank you, Ted. Right. Next.
Lawrence did remind me when I came in, that it's D-Day, the anniversary. At the time, I was living in London and I was 14 years old, so I was too young to be in the forces, but I was very aware of what was going on. It was a surprise to people because you had no television then. All you had was the radio, and everybody used to listen to the BBC Home Service, as it was. And that's where you had your news bulletins. There was newspapers, but then, see, newspapers, you never got the news till 2 or 3 days afterwards. And most of what you got in the paper was that there'd been a small raid on the coast of France on a certain day, and that would be it, because all the rest was secret. And when you went to the cinema, you saw the old Pathé News, as they used to call it. That and British Movietone News, they were the programmes, and they would show you clips of different things that had been happening. And when D-Day came, it was announced on the radio that the forces had landed in France, but it was very sketchy because, you see, you hadn't got these television cameramen then. All you had was the Pathé News odd ones and some army cameramen, and the radio reporters for the BBC used to record their talks on a 12-inch record. I expect some of you remember the old 12-inch records, and that was flown home to the BBC and they played it on the radio. But that's as much as you knew what was going on. And as the time went on, so more things came to light. You were told that there were so many men landed here, so many landed there, and as the war progressed, so the news became more efficient because they were all following up what was going on. And it was, I don't know, you knew what was going on, but you had no idea what was going on. And it went on like that till the end of the war in Europe. And then, of course, it all centred on the Far East, what was happening over there, which you had very little knowledge of because it was all being kept quiet. But that was more or less the way things were, as I say, during the war. But that wasn't what I was going to talk about this morning. I got sidelined into that. What I was going to say was that I expect a lot of you have seen these programs on television with these experts talking about antiques and things that people have brought along for sort of identification, or asking how much is it worth, what can I get for it? And it struck me that when somebody came along, perhaps with a medal, and said, oh, this was presented to my Uncle Jim during the war for doing something, and they say, oh, yes, your Uncle Jim, he was where, in the army or wherever he was. And they say
How big is his teeth?
we can show you
How big?
this letter that comes with it, which says that whoever he was awarded this medal for certain things. So it gives it the provenance as to proof as what it was, what it was for. And I thought to myself, it was quite a few years ago now, my wife and I used to go to Weymouth at the weekends sometimes and stay at a hotel with a couple that we knew. And we went there one... oh, thank you. Only here for the beer. I picked up the local paper, the Herald Express, one Saturday and saw there was a demonstration of psychometry at a local church. So I went along, my wife didn't go, she wasn't feeling too well. And as I'd never seen psychometry or really knew much about it, then I realised afterwards that I did know what it was, because when I was in the Boy Scouts, back in the ages, we used to do a thing called Kim's Game. I don't know whether any of you were ever in the Scouts or the Guides. They used to have a tray, like a tea tray, and they put certain objects on, put a cloth over the top, and then they would take the cloth off and you had 2 minutes to look at it and remember whatever was on the tray, and you had to write it down. And when I got to this meeting, they said that it would be a demonstration of psychometry. And so they had a tray which they passed round the audience, and people put things on the tray, like a pen, a wallet. I put my watch on the tray. They covered it up and gave it to this chap who was doing the demonstration, and he looked and he picked up 1 or 2 things and said certain things to certain people, and then he picked my watch up and he said, "Who's this?" And I said, "It's mine, my watch." And he said, "I got a man here with me, and he's your father." Well, my father had been dead, well, he died in 1965, we've been dead a long time. And he said he wants to give you a message. And he said the message is, get the front right wheel of your car looked at. That was the message. Nothing else. So I thought about it and I thought, well, I must do something. So the next day I did find a garage where I could get it looked at. And the chap, I said to him, "I think there's something wrong with the right front wheel." So he put it up on the hoist and looked at it, And he said, yes, there is. He said, one of the track rods that controls the steering is cracked. And it said if you'd hit a bad bump, that could quite easily have broken and you'd have been across the road. So I thought about it afterward that to me that was the provenance that proved that you can get a message from the other side. And to this day, I still believe that that was, excuse me, a message that was given to me. And I hope it's of interest to people that you really can prove what you get. With that,
Thank
I'll
you.
conclude.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ted.
Absolutely
I'll
wonderful.
shut up.
Oh, we'll catch you again, no
Yeah.
doubt. Thank you. Yeah. You need to talk.
Sorry?
You need to talk.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Please. Lovely. Thank you very much, Ted. That was smashing. You know, I'm a big one for our heritage and our lineage. You know, we can sit there and read about the past, but to hear it from somebody with first hand who actually created that past is just wonderful. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. Got our first bit of music today, and we might need some musical accompaniment, Mum. Yeah? So, maybe where they are, because they're coming up on camera, maybe cause an issue. You want one, Ted? See, now the kids have taken one, everybody wants one. Yeah. For those of you watching at home, don't worry, you have tuned in to a church service, seriously. So obviously at this time we're still denied that ability to sing out, but I printed off the words for everybody to look at. And as you can hear, we have a great musical accompaniment going on within the church. The Mayhem and Mystics. Yes, definitely. So we have.
Which bit do you do solo?
Great is
One about
thy
4:30 this afternoon.
O God, my Father, there is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see, and all I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Oh, pardon for
Indeed. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Right, you can put the eggs down now, and I'm not talking to the children. Oh. So we have another member of our community. Some of you may recognise and know Simon from attending our services. Absolutely lovely gentleman, and I welcome... Rubbish. So I welcome Simon up now to share a bit of your story, sir. You'll go. All right. Want a hand back?
Do I need it?
No.
No.
It's mine. Watch it.
Hello, everybody. Hello. That's it.
Yeah. That's the sort of speech we like. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me at the back in the cheap seats? Yeah. I'd like to show you this, actually. It was drawn for me many years ago by my goddaughter, who's part of my family. And she was about 6. And she presented it to me, along with many others. But this one has managed to survive the years. And I was going through some papers. After my father died, 12 years ago now, I didn't take it very well, like most of us, really. I was hit by really powerful, immense sadness, and so I was going through the process of bereavement, which I'm sure many people here have done. And my way round it was to write to my dad. I got him an internet email, and I just used to type them off and send them off to the ether, never knowing that he was actually, I now know, standing over my shoulder reading them. Because later on, I sought out a medium. She became a good friend of mine, Barbara. And she gave me a most wonderful reading. But before I explain about that, which is all part of this theme of family, talking about my dad, who I adored and still do, back to this lovely picture. And it reminds me of a wonderful story. So if you can see, there's a gorgeous sun, happy, smiley sun, and there's Jupiter, I think, and probably Venus, and lots of stars. And then Laura, that's the name of my goddaughter, she said to Simon, "I love you, Laura." So it meant a great deal then, and it means a great deal now. But it reminds me of this story. So a little girl, we'll call her Laura, she was drawing a picture in class. And the teacher was really surprised because normally Laura was just not focused and not interested in anything really, especially maths and stuff like that. But she was with this little drawing exercise. And she was drawing away, and she was like kids do now. Loving it, absolutely, totally into her drawing. So intrigued and obviously delighted, the teacher approached the little girl and knelt down. And she said, "Oh, lovely, Laura. What are you drawing?" And the little girl said, "I'm drawing God." And the teacher said, "Well, nobody knows what God looks like." And the little girl said, "Well, you will in a minute." And that neatly brings me to my point, really, that, and you mentioned it earlier on, none of us, we all got our own ideas about what God is or whatever. And part of that idea for me, and was shown to me through evidential mediumship or a reading from my friend Barbara, was that, come on boys, my support. I tell you what, I like drawing dinosaurs, so if you draw me some dinosaurs, we'll see who did the best one. How about that? Ooh. With lots of colours and stuff. Challenge. Because that's what I do, I draw dinosaurs. Where was that? Oh, yes. So, as I wrote these letters to my dad, obviously it was painful to begin with because I was speaking directly to somebody who had completely lost and felt ripped away from. But as the months turned over into years, actually, I still do it occasionally. I have a write-off, and I know that within that letter, that when I'm out in the world or when I'm doing my artwork, Spirit will find a way in which to communicate that that message has been sent and has been received. And I got an absolute massive shock with being with Barbara, the medium. I'm not a medium, by the way. I'm tall, fat, large, or short. If I'm squinting and I look like Mole, I apologise. So during this medium time, talking with Barbara, and through Barbara, my father came through, and the more this lady spoke, Barbara, who I didn't know then, the more I was just utterly convinced that it was my dad. There's no way that it wasn't. And in that moment, it was amazing. And then he went and did something even more wonderful. So it's a long letter, so if I read it all out, you'd all be gasping for air and looking for the emergency exit. So I will keep it short. So, and speaking words is different to reading them, so I apologise if this sounds drony. I'll try not to make it so. And obviously it's personal. I was sending my thoughts and my heart to my dad. But it's about God. You hear it a lot, God is love. And people talk about I love you, and you see love everywhere, and it can be overused or undervalued. And I certainly was doing that. I'll just read it and you see what you think. I know you have thought my life choices and decisions would not have been yours, but again, thank you for letting me make them and always giving you support when I messed up, and sometimes big times. I've been a pain in the past, I realise, and I apologise. You're telling me not to doubt myself and to let go and trust to instinct and love surprised me. It surprised me with the way you flooded the room with that love. Well, frankly, it really was astounding. I've never felt anything like it, and it was life-changing. I will strive to live by and through that love for the rest of my life. It is something in the past I always shut my mind to, preferring to use the concept of respect, which I try to do, and I'm not afraid to think in the way of love anymore. It isn't that I don't love, I do. I love everybody in my family and all my friends and everybody that I try to come in contact. It was always, I felt, such a simple and honest, and sometimes I think, at the time, I thought it a bit of a lame thing to say. Plus the associations with mainstream churches who seem to have monopolised that word over many centuries and done the complete opposite of loving people. So I found it all rather confusing. But the moment my father did this extraordinary thing, I asked a question. Some of you must have pets and lost pets. And we had the most extraordinary dog called Monty. She was a rescue dog. And unfortunately for Mons, she had been born as a puppy with leishmaniasis, which is this horrible disease that affects dogs in most of Europe, and particularly where I lived at that time, in Spain. It's endemic, and it makes animals really, really unwell, and it's a horrible thing. And she got it, and we used to have to take her down to the vets 3 times a day to have 4 injections at 3 times a day. So no wonder the poor thing was terrified of the vets. But she recovered. The vet said it was a miracle. But we loved that dog so much. I used to give her foot massages. I used to do reflexology. And I used to say, well, this might help you. This might get you through, which it did. So obviously when Monty passed, we were all desperately upset. So I asked this question to the medium. Is Monty with my father? To which the medium said, I'm awfully sorry, and she burst into tears. And after about 5 minutes, she recovered. She said, that's so unprofessional. She said, I was just not prepared for what your dog and your father have just done. They exploded into light, and they fused back together again, and they fused back, and they gave me the image of them standing in a meadow. I'll try not to cry, because that was my evidential piece of evidence, powerful as it was, that I had all these letters, and I entitled them, it's about that, it's a book basically, and I called it Letters to the Meadow. And in it I describe a Navajo Indian idea that when you die, you move off and you keep walking through the grasslands, and you keep walking through the grasslands, and eventually you come to a very high hill, and it's almost impossible because you're so tired to get over the top of the hill. But you can hear laughter, you can hear children playing, you can hear dogs barking, you can hear horses. And when you get to the top of that hill and you look down, there's a beautiful river with grass and your teepee family, all your members, all your ancestors, and you get there and you're welcomed. And they give you flowers. And I used to write that a lot to my father, and then to have Barbara, the medium, then say, and he's now pointing the cornflowers. And when my father died, he always wanted to go to university, but never managed it in life. But in death, he donated his body to the medical facilities in Murcia, in Spain. So he did get his wish, he went to university. And I sent off with him in his hand a card with painted cornflowers. And so for Barbara to say, I can see cornflowers, and he's handing cornflowers to me. So again, as you were saying, never doubt the power of your love, and your love that surrounds you, from whether you call it the field or the universal consciousness, God. Some people are afraid to use that word, for he or she or they. But it's there and it's real. And that's really all I have to say.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely lovely. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you, Simon. Absolutely wonderful.
You arrange the fee later, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, certainly. If you can
How
find
many
me, you can
pennies?
have it.
Yeah, check in the post.
What are we doing now?
It's time for the notices.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Simon. That was lovely. Thank you for sharing. Beautiful. Absolutely. Okay, the notices that we've got coming up before our hymn and closing prayer. So on Wednesday here in-house we have traditional divine service with mediumship demonstration, and that's with Anne Mason at 3 o'clock. Thursday, the 10th of June, we have an event in the evenings run by Soraya, and this is a ladies drumming group, and I think that starts at 7.
does,
7.
yeah.
So that's 7 o'clock.
No. They want me to come down, open the doors and turn the lights on, but I'm not allowed to come.
Yeah, then clear off. Have a word with Soraya. And then Sunday the 13th of June, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, is the Lyceum service. And that's with Al and Jeff Potts, and that'll be where, because the Saturday night Lyceum talks have been so popular, this is another way of bringing something else to the services offered by Poole Spiritualist Church, where they will discuss aspects of spiritualism. So we hope to see you on that Sunday too. And while I'm speaking the notices, I'll just mention that online we have the 5-minute meditation at 7 p.m. with Lawrence here. And then on Saturday in the morning at 9 a.m. we have another 5-minute meditation. These are wonderful. They just take you into that sort of space and you don't want to come back sometimes. However, we have to get on with life. And then on Saturday evening online, we have Fiona Parry-Dodd and her husband Paul. I think they're talking about their journey into spiritualism,
how
is
they
that
start
right?
their healing.
And their healing practice, as Lawrence has just said. So that's all the notices I've got so far. And I think we're on for the final prayer and hymn, and that is Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee.
And we definitely need musical accompaniment
and
with that.
we have.
And just to clarify, next Sunday's service, the Lyceum-style services will be following our standard layout of a service, just with the exception of, instead of a reading and address, we will actually indulge in some of the history of our wonderful movement. Not only the movement itself, but some of the great figures of the past, some of the effects that we have on society, and then that will be followed by the demonstration of mediumship. So it's all changed, new energies, new ways, new ideas coming in, and constantly evolving. So I hope that you enjoy them. Anyway, shut up, Lawrence, and get on with the music.
Thank you for all the accompaniments, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Before I draw into the closing prayer, I hope that you have enjoyed this service, the energy in here, seeing, hello boys. You know, this is all part of our life cycle, you know, coming to church and what church means to us, and indeed coming into a church. You know, these two little ones here are coming to church, and that experience, that formula, that understanding will be with them for their entire life. It is part now of their history and their lineage. So I hope you've enjoyed it, boy. I can see you tucking into sandwiches, so if you get sandwiches, it can't be all bad, can it? And going through, we've got the lovely Ted. You know, we've all seen and we've all got to know a little bit more, and we'll acknowledge each other more. You know, yeah.
Thank you, Ted.
This is what life in the church is about, and this is part of the message and the power of spirit. You know, we are here for this time. Celebrate it, enjoy it, look out for each other, be part of each other. So I hope that you've gained that experience today. These services hopefully will be going forward once a month on this format, slight changes, variations as required. We will be introducing the Lyceum services, and also we will continue with our divine services in the traditional format. So as we re-emerge into the light here, Paul Church is going to offer a variety. You know, and if you come along to a service and you love it, great, absolutely wonderful. Similarly, if you come along to a service and think that's not for me, that's fine. You know, we do tend to stuck, don't we? And we have to sort of like fight a point where we don't agree. But actually, we don't need to fight that point. Just accept it and move on. And again, that's part of family, kinship and fellowship. So, if you'd like to join me now.
Just say thank you to Simon. Just like to thank Simon again for sharing. It was very heartfelt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Lawrence didn't think so, obviously.
No, I've forgotten all about
Words
it.
later.
She sent me
After
to
I
lunch.
have.
I'm not going to get fed now.
You'll have to walk.
So, if you just find that space within, that touch of the divinity that resides within us all. And dear Lord, dear God, dear Father, dear Mother Spirit, dear energy, whatever our conceptions, our thoughts, and our visualization of that one force, that one thread of life, that one empowerment that runs through all of creation, runs through every star, moon, sun, and planet, through every part of life expressed within this realm, be it animal, mineral, or vegetable. We are all bound and kept within this energy. So we acknowledge that energy and we see it manifest. As we look out, we see a flower, a bird, the sky, a beach, the sea, it matters not. These are all the gifts and manifestations and the evidence of that creative power which runs through all things. And we thank you for that energy here today, bringing together strangers to share this time as friends and family. And the enablement too, through our new virtual presence, to link not only here, but across the globe, and to bring in that love, that respect, that honour, and that understanding. Amen.
Amen.
So thank you all for joining us today. You forgot your Danish.
What?
You forgot to say your Danish bit.
Oh, I could do.
Go on then.
Oh, it's Norwegian actually.
Oh, Norwegian. In honour of our Norwegian friends.
Hello, Norway. Can we have your points, please? Har du det bra? And for those of you living in Lofoten, which is the Northern Islands at the very top of Norway, it's very sunny all the time. Are you getting any sleep? Because it's 24 hours sunshine. At the
Oh,
moment.
lovely. I can go with that.
Hada.
That was it, was it?
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah, my Danish is
That
hi
one.
hi. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a lovely day. Look after yourselves. Boys are not going to move until they finish their sandwiches,
No.
obviously, and that's absolutely fine. Take care, lots of love, God bless.
Thank you. Bye. Phew.